originally came about because we visited a school that had a schedule that had sort of mini Tiger Times throughout the day, and none of the kids were on their break at the same time, so it's kind of a crazy schedule. I can't even describe it. But we did actually witness students with time throughout the day where they weren't assigned anywhere, where they had the freedom to sort of use that time how they wanted, provided they, just still within the school rules. And it was really interesting to us, particularly because many of our students leave us and go to college where their time is not managed for them by bells, and or go into a career. And so we wanted to offer more time like that, that students could use that time for choices.
So this faculty started to talk about the concept of something called unit lunch, which is something that schools that are a lot bigger than even Auburn High School have used for a while to be able to feed their student population. There are Georgia schools that are 3,000, 4,000, 6,000 kids big, and so if they were to utilize a traditional lunch wave operation style for feeding all of their students, they'd be going to lunch from the beginning of the school day to the end of the school day. So those schools and other schools in the nation adopted something called unit lunch, and there are other names for it as well, but basically it was a way to feed everybody in the school in one common sort of hour-long lunch break.
Which is why we looked more at that 60-minute block in the middle of the day, and it just felt right once we came up with it. The purpose is just to provide unstructured time and to allow people to make choices with that time, to do things that they actually would maybe want to do with that time. And so, if a student is studying, great. If a student is in a club meeting, great. If a student's just socializing, well, that's great too. It's not meant to be, for one specific thing.
I do think that Tiger Time is benefiting students, even if students don't necessarily see the benefit. If they say things like, I don't do anything, well, that's still a break in your day. And it's your choice whether or not you take advantage of your free time.
I do think Tiger Time is very beneficial. I hope that other high schools around Auburn start to implement that, because I think it's a great opportunity that we have at this high school. I do like how high school is with Tiger Time, because now it gives you kind of a break in the middle of the day, kind of evens out the day. Instead of having lunch in the latter part of the day, it almost creates almost a half point in the day, knowing that half of your classes are in the start and half the classes are after Tiger Time.
I really enjoy Tiger Time and the fact that students can go to tutoring. It's also really great for the students that work after school. I know a lot of my students, I have a job, I work, I can't come see you after school. So Tiger Time is really great in that aspect.
Tiger Time is beneficial for me because I just get to relax after spending so much, and I also get to hang out with my friends and get some help for homework, and to also study for tests that may be coming up later instead of cramming it all in a day or a morning for a class.
Tiger Time is very beneficial for many reasons, like tutoring, anything you do outside of school, inside of school, any work that you got to catch up on, anything just really extracurricular or just things that you just want to do in your free time. That's what Tiger Time is there for.
I think Tiger Time is beneficial because it gives kids who have after-school activities and can't get schoolwork done after school, they can do it during school now. I felt like before Tiger Time, I kind of just went to school and got all my classes done, and it felt like I was doing schoolwork the whole day, but I like the break that we have now.
I only had 2 classes, so for the first 9 weeks, I didn't have to go to Tiger Time, and then now I have a 3rd block, and I kind of feel like it's a wasted hour.
I do. I think it's efficient because you guys get a break, you get that mental break, you guys are able to do a few things that you want to do, you get to see your friends more than you did last year, so I do think it is very good for the students to have that time.
So this is giving students the opportunity to make autonomous choices about how they spend their time, and also learn how to schedule and make choices between things, which is something that adults have to do on a regular basis. I would say if I had had something like Tiger Time when I was in high school, it probably would have taken me a second to acclimate, to get used to it, and to get used to being in charge of my own schedule and my own time. But after I learned how to take advantage of the system and utilize the things that were going on during Tiger Time, I would have been much better prepared for college.
when we first started looking at it, we realized a schedule like we saw was not really going to meet all the needs that we wanted, because we also wanted to be able to offer time during the school day for clubs to meet. We have a lot of students who are in the band or football or different athletic sports that require, or even maybe have a job that require a lot of work outside of school, and so they can't really be a member of other clubs. It stops them from doing that.
I might also be hosting my club as the sponsor of a club, but not necessarily, because clubs have become something, because of Tiger Time, that students take more ownership in. And so my president might be running that club, more likely would be running that club meeting. And that's great, because that teaches that student and all of the officers in my club how to be more adult and to be more leaders than they have ever had the opportunity to be in the past. But simply sometimes because I can't be there because I'm scheduled to do something somewhere else.
I do participate with a lot of clubs. I'll participate in things like FBLA, and it has allowed me to start up several new organizations. Like we recently started up our Quiz Bowl team again this year, and we'd also started up a new organization called Toastmasters. And thanks to Tiger Time, is that I've been able to start up clubs like that.
And also, I like the fact that I have club meetings during that time. I'm the sponsor of Junior Civitan Club, so we get to meet once a month during Tiger Time, and it's not the pressure of staying after school and that.
During Tiger Time for HOSA, FBLA, and Toastmasters.
Spanish Club usually has meetings in the Scola, and so does Key Club, so I attend those every time they have them. FBLA has meetings in the Scola as well, so I go to those.
I'm the president of High Death Club, so I'll have my club meetings during Tiger Time. So it's really nice when the officers can have meetings in school and not have to meet outside of school, because our schedules are all so busy.
I do run science school. In October, I had Tiger Time for my club. Now we just meet before school because we meet too often.
Those schools also realized that this was a really good opportunity to enrich and intervene when students were either needing to be challenged more or struggling academically in their school day.
I'll sometimes go to tutoring, especially if the teacher is definitely offering it quite often. Also, if there's a difficult subject that I'm having trouble with, specifically like in sciences or math, which sometimes I'll struggle on.
I sometimes go to tutoring for language and history, because I just need to study for tests and all that and try and make good grades.
Well, I go to tutoring and help me improve on my for my grades, and help me understand the unit and what she's talking about better.
I don't go to tutoring during Tiger Time because I have tutoring outside of school.
My students, if they miss a test, they know that they can come on Tuesday and Thursday, and I usually just let them know, hey, either this Tuesday or Thursday, come make up a test, and they come and I give it to them, and they sit here and finish their test.
The ability to meet with clubs during the day was important to us. Our teachers don't get to meet as departments very often because they don't have the same planning period. And then again, we have a lot of teachers who are coaches, and so they can't meet after school, or teachers who are watching their kids in the morning, so they can't meet before school. So it became important to us to provide an opportunity for our teachers to get together as departments more frequently.
If I'm not on duty, then I am either hosting my Tiger Connect group, which is a senior group for me this year. It's a group of students that you have all the way through their high school time. It's kind of akin to homeroom, but it's more about building a relationship with kids than the traditional homeroom model had been previously.
I usually just spend my Tiger Time eating lunch and then just chilling with my friends, basically.
I'm on the cheerleading team, so on Fridays we come out and do pop-up pep rallies, and so sometimes we use Tiger Time to practice.
I spend all my Tiger Time just chilling, doing homework, eating lunch, and just talking with friends.
I'll usually eat in one of the outside Tiger dens, or if not, I might be eating inside a teacher's classroom if I'm ever having a tutor having to work on some sort of quiz or test that I missed due to another organization.
My Tiger Time by doing duty, tutoring, and usually running a club. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I tutor here in my classroom for the full hour. On Mondays and Fridays, I typically am doing a duty station for the rest of the year. I am on the first floor, and I usually just walk up and down the halls or sit at the tables, and I just make sure that the kids are picking up their trash, pushing their chairs in, and doing everything that they're supposed to be doing.
Well, a lot of my students use Tiger Time to get interviews with people. So I teach television production, and it's a great opportunity to interview people. Some of my students use it to work on club stuff, so clubs that I run or clubs that other people run. A lot of my students choose to study or to exercise in some way. That's all part of kind of adulting as well. One of the things that I think parents really want from us as high school teachers and high school administration is that they want us to teach people how to adult better. Well, if we don't give you the opportunity to try out adulting, how are we ever going to do that? And this is that. This teaches kids in a safe environment how to make adulting choices, because you're going to go into a situation after you graduate from high school where you're going to have to learn to either choose to do nothing or to be productive in your free time after you graduate from high school. So if you go to college, you're going to have free time. If you don't do anything at all after high school, you're going to have free time. If you go into the workforce, you're going to have free time. What are you going to do with that?
I don't really see any big changes headed our way. It's certainly not going away. I don't know that we'll be changing it in any way right now, because I don't see why we would change it. It seems to be working. The feedback's been pretty positive from both students and teachers. Obviously, if we see a better way to do it or another thing that we could offer during it, we'll look at that. But I think right now we're just sort of finally getting into a rhythm with it and getting it figured out. And so I don't see any changes coming anytime soon.